Today I'm going to share an award ceremony speech and Q&A with Max. And you might know him from our coaching program because he's one of the top teachers, the most looked up to guy right now. But back in the day when we first started with Max, it was completely different. He had over like 30 positions in his portfolio, which a lot of people can relate to. So getting him on track was tough and cutting all those trades took time. But once he did, check this out. Here was the message I got just a couple months in after working with us. Basically, since June 30th, 2024, he finally hit that six-figure award. And this is the video of him getting it in Denver. And aside from that, years later or 1 year later, he was able to even get his dream home. So Max is a student I love, I look up to. He's an awesome guy. Check this out. Max, a round of applause.
Thank you.
Just for here.
Appreciate it.
So you could share your story before you joined us, your transition, and then that last piece, like that uniqueness to you of how you succeeded.
I was just saying to Christopher, I think I started maybe 5-6 years ago trading a small retirement account that my wife had from an old job that got moved to a Schwab account. And I was basically doing buy and hold, kind of long-term, only holding stock. And it was going well, but it was very passive. And I just got interested in how I could make it more impactful, and started doing more shorter term trades on mainly stock, and then learning just through the YouTube channel, started learning about the options plays and things, but still had all these stock positions. So that transition was kind of painful to let go of all those positions that were, I'd put a lot of thought into them or whatever. So I was invested in their outcome. And
Sorry, hold this for me. It doesn't
Sure,
work. It's just for the camera.
no problem.
You can say that again.
No,
Start over.
it's a prop mic. It's for the camera guy. It's recording it.
Anyway, I just took the conviction of Matt's recommendation to get down to the 3 to 5 positions and focus on fewer positions and mastering those and understanding them better. And the leverage ETFs has been the whole kind of focus of the 2024 year for me, outside of a couple of plays like the Tesla stuff. And I think I had a coin play that ended up working out well, just kind of lucky, but yeah, it's been really, really positive, and can't say anything other than just, I appreciate all the support from Matt and this group. I think it's awesome to have just the opportunity to engage with people who are also interested in the same kind of approach to investing, and putting money to work, is something that everybody talks about, but that's really what we're doing in this room. And I think it's powerful to have more people who are thinking about it in the same way. And I appreciate Matt's leadership on it very much as well. And Daniel, learning from your calls too quite a bit. So looking forward to the day and getting to know you guys, and hopefully more success in 2025.
Yeah, and talk about your plan. You're kind of making like a big transition this year.
In terms of what?
Like capital. I think you're
My wife and I
your
have,
goal, I guess, your
Yeah.
goal of 2025.
My wife and I have owned a gym business for almost 15 years, and we do this annual sale where we bring in a good chunk of our revenue for the year. And historically, I just kind of just park it and just let it sit. So one of the things I'm looking into is it possible to invest some of those dollars through a different type of brokerage? And it seems like it definitely is quite possible, and that could be a very interesting way to continue to kind of grow the portfolio. So I'm excited about that, but also looking at just kind of getting the portfolio to the size that it's gotten to. I think I'm going to have opportunity to start to put more time into the trading and less into other things. So excited about that.
Yeah, congrats, dude.
Thank you.
So ultimately, like maybe walking away from the business one day.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we've got a couple years left on some leases and things like that. That is sort of a timeline that's fixed, but it'd be great to see that kind of carry forward more as an investing business versus a bricks and mortar service business with lots of people running around creating problems.
Any questions for Max while he's up here? You guys see him in the Discord. He's doing the same thing we all are. But if you guys have questions for any of these students, feel free to ask like towards the end of the ish.
What kind of percentage you're doing the CSP and the long leap hunting?
That was a tough thing for me when I transitioned from all the kind of stocks, whether it's the long-term stuff or the shorter term. I got more into the leaps and the leverage side, and then in I think early August when we had that big sell-off, like I probably took a 50% hit on it, and eventually came back and then some. But I would say in September I got to that 80-20 CSPs in leaps, that blended strategy from the strategy blender, and have been at that kind of percentage since. So then, the recent sell-offs and things have not been nearly as destructive because of just not being in so much leverage.
Yeah, when you sold off a lot of your stock, were you just selling, or were you structuring as like covered calls to make a little bit on top of that? Was there like a specific strategy you took when you were
A
getting
lot of the stocks I was in were pretty small. They were kind of like small, even smaller than small cap. So that most of them didn't even have like options chains. There was some, like I had a good chunk of just SPY that I sold with covered calls, and same thing with Microsoft. I had a chunk of that had appreciated quite a bit. So letting go of some of those plays that I'd held for a long time was tough, but yeah, it was definitely the right thing to do to have more focus on fewer positions.
Do you still have stock now?
Basically, the only stock I have now is just a consequence of playing the wheel in the different accounts that I have. So it's just I'm getting assigned. But I don't really have anything I was planning to hold for a long time.
Are you just doing maths plays, or are you, you graduated to making your own plays?
I mean, sometimes from time to time, I'll do a trade outside of what's recommended. I guess I'll say I'm doing the ETFs that Matt's focused on, and doing a lot of my own trades with those ETFs. So it's not always what's on the CSP sheet or the leaps. I tend to follow Matt's lead on, I guess, pretty exactly. But the CSPs, like, I'll go higher in the money or a little more aggressive on those sometimes.
I would say probably like every student up here is 70% variating our trades that I give out. So they understand it enough to like say, oh, I want to go more risk, less risk type thing. That's a key component to like having success. Taking my stuff and like making it your own, basically.
When you're doing those kind of adjustments, is it primarily more aggressive in the money, or do you also change like the strike date?
Yeah, both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah. I try to follow the recommendation of making sure you're getting 5 to 7% on any of the covered call plays that you're doing. And ideally that's with the close to 20% appreciation on the stock as well. So like really trying to time those things out. And I think the thing that I need to work on more now is exiting positions that are not matching those type of criteria quicker.
With this more aggressive than what we're doing in the class, what's the percentage of assignment you're getting?
I'm sure it's higher than what, if I were just in the trades on the sheet,
Yeah.
you're probably not getting assigned very often.
Yeah.
So I'm probably getting assigned pretty regularly every month, like some shares, but
Nice.
it's not, that's kind of part of the plan. As well,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. You plan it before you're ready to get assigned. Yeah, that's
like
kind of the mindset.
I was talking to Steve last night about sometimes if I want to own a stock, then I'll do a CSP that's in the money, like on a Friday or a Thursday or something. I think you were the one I got that idea from, and then like basically get paid to buy the stocks. You know what I mean? And that's been, that's great. If you have conviction in a certain play, like Matt's always talking about, then you can be a little more comfortable with those things. But
So to be that aggressive, you don't need to be 100%. Let's say you have a 100% portfolio. You cannot divide it into before, now you need to have some money on the cash, because if you got assigned and trade goes the opposite way, you might need to average down, so you need to CSP it again. So you have to have
Yeah.
dry powder somewhere else just to be able to be aggressive for DCA.
Yeah, I think
Makes
that
sense.
I think that's true. If you're being more aggressive, you
Yeah.
need to manage your cash flow a little differently. I think that's true.
You can't go all in on every time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you get fully invested, sometimes you got to be patient.
You'd be stuck and be patient. Yeah.
It can be painful.
At what point did you change your mindset from changing your conviction, basically from doing one or two contracts to, you said you had a $30,000 a month, that's more than one or two contracts. So you're actually taking and leveraging your capital and transitioning that into using it into the system and kind of addressing that fear aspect of migrating into that from a long-term. I'm a long-term investor as well. So I understand kind of the position that you were in is probably my position now.
I think the process was getting to fewer trades, right? Or fewer positions. Like instead of having 20, 30 different stock plays, being in 3 to 5 ETFs mainly. And then from there, growing in sort of confidence to start taking on some of that risk. And it's also, if you're in a play that goes, if you're into the trend, as Matt talks about, then you can just end up with a bit closing out a big month like that, just by being in that uptrend and not necessarily being like hugely risk on.
And those were CSPs too?
A lot of them, yeah. For sure, my fourth quarter was pretty much all CSPs. I had almost no leap activity. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm impressed with that, honestly. That's a huge transition, just having big months without risk.
There's definitely some risk, like going more in the money, but
Yeah,
know.
for sure.
I've been, for whatever reason, just being comfortable enough holding the shares when you get assigned has been, I would say, a key thing for me. And it's a sort of a tough balance of, I probably need to be quicker to cut losses in certain situations, and then I've benefited from being patient in others.